Good morning everybody, this is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is July the 30th today. We're looking at Psalm 75 and 76. Now, Psalm 75, I've called it "The Lord Will Be Fair." You see, what Psalm 75 is doing is it's describing how God deals with the whole of mankind outside of grace. You see, they're not Christians, they're people under law. And all the people of the world that are under law are dealt with in perfect righteousness. So let's read the psalm. It's a psalm of Asaph. Unto thee, O God, do we give thanks. Unto thee do we give thanks, for that thy name is near, thy wondrous works declare. I'm not quite sure where the full stops and so on occur in a sentence like that. When I shall receive the congregation, I will judge uprightly. The earth and all the inhabitants thereof are dissolved. I bear up the pillars of it. Selah. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up thy horn. Lift not up thy horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. Now, I'm presuming here that the lifting up of the horn, which in our society today isn't a phrase that we're familiar with, but I take it that to lift up the horn means to speak not with a stiff neck. Okay, I presume that what Asaph is saying is that the lifting up of the horn is to speak arrogantly and to speak rebelliously against the Lord. I presume that's what it means. He says, for promotion cometh neither from the east or from the west or from the south. But God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So people say today, they say, why, if there's a God, why doesn't he do something in the world? Well, I believe he is. You see, God is the judge. He is the judge of men, and he puts some down and he sets some up. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture. He poureth out the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. And my password is in verse 10. This is in verse 10 describing how God deals with the world. You see, all the world is in a relationship with God. You see, as Christians we have often a false idea saying that all the people that are unsaved therefore do not have a relationship with God, but that's not true. You see, the unsaved are in covenant. Yes, they're unsaved, that's definitely. They're not Christians, as we might think, but they are in a covenant, and whatever covenant they're in, God will deal with them in that covenant according to the terms of the covenant. So he says, all the horns of the wicked will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous will be exalted. You see, the horns of the wicked will be cut off. They're not cut off yet. You see, God is patient even with the wicked and with the foolish. The foolish are not people who are lacking in knowledge. The foolish are people who have the knowledge, the same as the righteous do, but they are not applying it correctly. They have the knowledge of the Lord, but they do not fear the Lord. And because they do not fear the Lord, they do not believe in the Lord. And because they don't fear him and believe in him, they live wicked lives. That's the point. All the horns of the wicked will be cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. What an amazing God we have, a God that will be fair. Now, Psalm 76, I've called this, the Lord will give victory. The Lord will give victory. This again is a psalm or a song of Asaph. This isn't so much a sermon. It's a song to be sung. All these psalms are songs to be sung, and they are what you might call the thinking, the theology of Israel. Somebody said a long time ago, if only I could write a theology of Israel. Well, we have a theology of Israel. It's called the Psalms. The Psalms set out, psalm after psalm after psalm, how God deals with his ancient people, Israel. Now let's read it. In verse 1, in Judah is God known, his name is great in Israel. In Salem also is his tabernacle, and his dwelling place in Zion. There brake he the arrows of the bow, the shield, the sword, and the battle. Think of that. Selah. Thou art more glorious and excellent than the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted are spoiled. They have slept their sleep, and none of the men of might have found their hands. At thy rebuke, O God of Jacob, both the chariot and the horse are cast into a dead sleep. Even thou art to be feared, and many who stand in thy sight when once thou art angry. Thou didst cause judgment to be heard from heaven. The earth feared and was still, when God arose in judgment to save all the meek of the earth. Selah. Surely the wrath of man shall praise thee, the remainder of wrath shalt thou restrain. Vow and pray and pay unto the Lord your God. Let all that be round about him bring presents unto him that ought to be feared. He shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. Now, this psalm of Asaph, to me, it has a prophetic tone. I think that really, first of all, it's within the context of Israel and Judah being in the land. So it's before the Babylonian captivity, or it is after the tribulation, when God restores Israel back to the land. You'll notice at the beginning of the psalm, it says, there he broke the arrows of the bow, the shield, the sword, and the battle. Where did he break them? Well, he broke them in his dwelling place in Zion. There's going to, between Zion, which is where the temple will be built, and between the Antonia fortress is a small crest of a valley between the two peaks, and that is the threshing floor. That is the place where the Lord Jesus will judge the nations. That's where he will smash all of the instruments of war, turning the sword into a plowshare and so on. And later he talks about the chariot and the horse are cast into a dead sleep. I don't think there's ever been a time, ever in history yet, in which God has gone out against his enemy and put them all to sleep. I don't think so. So this could be prophetic. It could be talking about the future. Thou didst cause judgment to be heard from heaven, and earth feared and was still. You see, I don't think that's ever been known yet either. It says, when God arose in judgment to save all the meek of the earth. Selah. Now, in the Beatitudes, the Lord Jesus says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. You see the point? Surely the wrath of man shall praise thee, the remainder of wrath shalt thou restrain. I take it that what Asaph, the prophet, is saying here is that God will deal with men in judgment. He will cause all the meek to inherit the earth, and he will bring his wrath upon man, but even his wrath will finally be restrained in the end. And verse 12, he says, he shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. You see, there's going to come a day, I believe, when all the kings of the earth will be brought to the feet of the Lord Jesus, and they will be petrified in his presence. because he will hold them all to account. And those who rebel against him will be put down. He will deal with them as with a rod of iron. Wow. So do you see why I think that this is prophetic? I think it's talking about Christ's future ministry as the judge of all men upon the earth. Well, God bless you. It's great to speak to you, and I look forward to speaking to you, God willing, tomorrow. Bye for now.